This video will be an introduction to using multiple if statements, and then as we go along using the else statement. We'll go ahead and go straight into looking at the program. We have a program here it's a very simple program here, but I have thrown in a function called getAge as part of the code that you saw in the text page. So I've put that in here. The getAge simply prompts the user and gets that information, and we will use that function as we develop it. So looking at what we wanted to accomplish on the ticket program for the amusement park, we start by getting an age here. So we'll come up and we'll say get age from user. And we're going to go through with this process of pricing each individual depending on their age. We'll start with, we have one age group here that if they're under the age of 13, then they pay a certain price. So we'll check for age less than 13. And then for that, we'll set ticket price to $6. And all of these are going to be roughly the same. So we'll put this down here a couple of times. So the next one is to see if they're between 13 and 18. So we'll say age, and we can do this here, age greater than 12, or we really should say and less than 19. And that ticket price there will be $9. And then we'll have one here that age is greater than or equal to 19 and less than or equal to 25. And the price for that is $12. And then we'll have one here that is greater than or equal to 26 and less than or equal to 54. I noted before in a previous video that looking at hard numbers like this is not going to be very common. This is essentially a contrived circumstance to give you some exercise with the if statements. Most of the time you're going to be checking for less than a comparison of something else. But it is possible that you'll be comparing to numbers, and so we'll use this example here. So between the 26 and the 24, they pay the most money. And then if we have somebody who is greater than or equal to 55 and less than 100, then they will pay $10. All right, and so that is our logical circumstance. This is the design operation for this particular system. And what we'll go ahead and do now is we'll go ahead and fill these in. So I'll have an if age is less than 13, 1, 2, 3, curly brace, and then we'll have ticket price is assigned 6.00. Okay, we do need to compile since we've got some code in here now, and obviously we're going to need to create a variable here. So we'll have our int age, and then we'll have an int ticket price, and this is where we can go ahead and we need to get the age from the user. And so we'll set age, assign it to get age, and that again abstracts away. We don't care what that looks like. It's just going to get us an age to be able to use with this activity. And then we'll come back down here. We'll have an if age greater than 12 and age less than 19. It has to be done this way. You can't make it look like age between 12 and 19. You have to test them individually and use an and. 3. and we'll set the ticket price. In this case, has to be set to $9. And now I'm going to go ahead and drop these down, paste them in, follow my own instructions as I go along. So this one will be greater than or equal to 19. And this one will be less than or equal to 25. This one right here will be less than or equal to 54 and greater than or equal to 26. This one will be greater than or equal to 55. I'm not afraid to do this out of order because I've got my design statement and I know exactly, just all I have to do is follow my design statement set. And then I can bring in my ticket price. I can set up my curly braces. And we'll copy that. And then we'll copy that. And then we'll copy that. That's $12. There is a trick to this in the sense that you really have to go back and check these out when you're done, when you're copying and pasting like this, because it's possible that you'll miss something and duplicate some answer somewhere. So you do need to keep an eye on that. And this is $10. So now with that in mind, I will go back and take a look here. Age less than 13, check my instructions, price to $6, greater than 12, less than 19, set it to $9, greater than or equal to 19, less than or equal to 25 is $12, greater than or equal to 26, less than or equal to 54, $15, greater than or equal to 55, and less than 100 is $10. So we can compile here. And we'll see the ticket price was set but not used. And we can go ahead and run this out and add that to the end of our program. Show final ticket price. We'll call it processed ticket price, variable ticket price. We'll hit a couple of endels after that and compile, and we're in good shape with the system pause and the cout because we did go ahead and put those up in the header files already. So now we should be able to run this, and that's what we'll do to start with, is just run it to see what we're going to get out of it. And we're going to start our enter age, and we'll pick an age. Let's pick an age between 12 and 19. We'll say 17, and sure enough our ticket price is 9. The presentation here won't be very good with cout. This is why you like to use the formatted print string or print double or whatever, because then you can force it to do dots and zeros and so on. But anyway, that we got a 9 out of that, and that's correct. So we'll come back here. If we run it again, just test another condition, say between get under control here, between 26 and 54. Let's say we set 50, and then the price is 15, and we've got a good answer there, so that's okay. I think we've got enough of a test right now to know and be comfortable that we're getting the right answers. Now what I want to do next is I want to take a look at what's actually happening in the program. I'm going to go ahead and set a breakpoint here. Go to my debug. That'll take me into prompting me for the age here. And I'll set an age of, say, 45 and enter. That turns my line blue here. Set this guy aside for the moment. And with my line blue right there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check for the age less than 13. Well, now what we can do is we can set our add a watch here, we know that age is 45. So we expect that that's probably not going to work when we do that. Sure enough, it's going to come down, and it's going to test between 12 and 19. And that should fail. And then we should see it come down to here between 19 and 25. And that should fail. And now we're going between 26 and 54. Now we should see the decision made here. And sure enough, it's made to set the ticket price to 15. And then we test again, even though we've already got the answer, we test again here. And that fails, and then we come out here and we can do the output. And when we bring up our output here, we see that we got the right answer. Now, all I wanted to do was show you the steps through that program for the moment, because we're going to come back and take a look at this process a little bit later on. So we'll undo that for the moment. What I want to do now is I want to attempt to use some logic here. I'm going to fail when I do this, but I'm going to attempt to use some logic. I'm going to say logically to myself, hey, if the age is less than 13 and I have already conducted that test, then nothing should have happened if I go past that. So if, say, for example, the person is 9, then that should be captured right here, and it won't matter for the rest of them. So if I do that, then I can undo this bracketing. That's what we call this right here, between two quantities is bracketing. I can just take that out. And I can say, well, okay, if age is less than 13, that'll take care of those kids up to 12. If age is less than 19, I can take care of the kids up to 18. And then if I have up to here age up to less than or equal to 25, I'll take care of this. And then I'll have the age less than or equal to 54. And notice I'm trying to be logical here. You may already see the flaw that I have with this logic, but I'm really trying to be logical and thinking that I'm going to grab that guy, and then if that's not the issue, then go to that guy, and so on. So let's go in here, and finally we'll have one there where the age is less than 100. We need to check the compiler. Compiler's happy. And now let's go ahead and take another look at this guy, and we'll go ahead and hold on to, we'll clip that right there. We'll go to our debug. We need to compile, I think we compiled, but I'll do that one more time. Then we'll come to debug, click on our debug. We'll go ahead and enter our age. And the age I gave as an example a minute ago was 9. So let's say the age 9. Okay, I'm going to press enter. And that turns my little line blue here, so I can move on. So I'm going to say age is less than 13. I should see my $6 quantity work here. And sure enough, it does. Then I come down to age less than 19, and let's take a look here at ticket price. So we've got ticket price of 6, and that's what we expect. Now I'm going to go next line, and I have a problem here, because I'm about to reset the ticket price again. I thought I was only going to be under the 13, but the fact of the matter is, logically speaking, 9 is less than 19. So in fact, this ticket price right here is going to be set to 9. But if I look down here, heck, 9 is also less than or equal to 25. So now my ticket price is 12. 9 is also less than or equal to 54. Now my ticket price is 15. And finally, turns out my age 9 is less than 100. So I'm finally setting my ticket price to 10. Now if we just take a quick look here at this whole test, no matter what got into these guys, anywhere along the way, the only result out of this was going to be $10 for everybody under age of 100. Because no matter what the age was, it would be set there, and then it would be set for all the rest of them. So we've made a mistake here, a logical mistake, and we need to correct that. We need to try to find a better way to deal with that. Turns out there's a way to do that. We'll go ahead and stop execution and close that up. Let's go ahead and correct our design statements here. My age is less than 13. In here, I'm checking for age less than 19. Here I'm checking for age less than or equal to 25. less than or equal to 54, and less than 100. Now, what would fix this so that it would not set my price in the wrong place and just keep resetting it all the way through? And the answer is this right here in terms of design. Right here I did a check for age less than 13. I'm going to put in another word. This is not a C++ keyword, but it is kind of one of our pseudocode keywords. And that is otherwise check for age of less than 19. And I'm going to stick that in each one of these. Now in my design, remember when I'm designing, I'm not writing any code at all. I'm just thinking my way through the process, and I need a keyword to help me remind myself that now I'm going to be using an else, because this otherwise is a word. In fact, actually in some languages, otherwise is a keyword that means else. So I'm going to stick my else in here. And to remind you from the text, there really isn't an else-if statement in C++. There's an if statement, that's this stuff, and then there's an else statement. But they can certainly be combined to accomplish what we're about to accomplish here. So we'll go ahead and compile that, make sure we're happy with that. No problems there. We'll come back up here and put our breakpoint on that one. And then we'll go ahead and compile this again. And then we will, in fact, go to our debug. Our debug goes back. And for this one, I'm going to say my second level group here was between 12 and 19. Let's set 17 in here so we get a chance to see it skip one here. So I'm going to enter 17, put this guy aside here. I'm going to bring this up. 17 is not less than 13. If we look at age right here, we have 17. I'm going to go to the next line. We skipped this one. Legitimately, we skipped this one because it wasn't less than 13. But now we're going to say 17 is less than 19. So we're going to say yep. And we're going to set the ticket price to 9. And then we notice something interesting happened here. It didn't do any more tests. It did the test for 17 under here, and it fell all the way down to the process ticket price output presentation. Let's do that again. I'll enter 17 into there. We're back up to our debug. We'll take our next line. Just remember a side note right here. This is set to 0 because we're in debug mode. Otherwise, this would almost certainly have garbage in it. Be careful about that when you're setting your computer programs. But this one doesn't. We're assured that some value is going to be put into the ticket price value, so we don't have to set it to something else. Little side note. All right, so 17 is not less than 13. We'll hit a next line. Sure enough, it skips the ticket price. Now we're going to say next line, and we're going to set the ticket price to $9, and we'll see that come up here. And we also see that after that point, after having set the ticket price to $9, it jumps all the way down to the output statement. And that is what else if does for us. It allows us to do a test or a series of tests. This is multiple if statement tests here. But it will get us out when it makes a decision. It will stop testing anything else in that particular series of else's and ifs, as it did here. Okay? Very interesting process, and very important for you to understand as this occurs. Now, the one other very interesting thing that will happen a little bit later on in another topic will be what will happen if we want to force a decision on this. And again, we're not talking about forcing decisions in this particular topic, but it would be the natural thing to do after this, because it is actually still possible that if I've got a 104-year-old that wants to come ride the amusement park, then that person will not get a ticket price. Our program will fail to get a ticket price there. So we'll go ahead and move on from here. We'll come back to our program, to our presentation, and we will set that at our end, and we will go ahead and finish up this video on the multiple if statements.